Hi, welcome to Array Chain Joint. Thank you for the 15 subscribers that I've gotten over the last 2 years, I guess. So this channel, I originally didn't actually want to start it off as a martial art channel. I actually wanted to start it more as an art channel, but I guess I didn't want to have a bunch of channels, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make something that I really enjoy, and that's art and martial arts. So maybe majority of you, I guess probably some of my friends, and if you're not, thank you for subscribing and commenting and stuff. A fair few of you have asked me about Muay Thai, training in Muay Thai, training in Chiang Mai with Crew Manop, and I mean, feel free to keep asking me questions about that. I do enjoy people hitting me up, asking me how to get to Thailand and what's it like training with criminal, all that stuff. It's great. I think back about now and it was a great journey. I mean, I got to live out my kickboxer Jean-Claude Van Damme fantasy, and that was probably due because of some really strange circumstances of there's a horrible shooting that happened in Christchurch a few years ago, and they kind of just woke me up and said, look, you gotta get out of here, you gotta do something that if you don't do it, you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life. And I guess I can explain a bit more. I might break this down into parts because this might be a very long vlog. It covers a bit more about not only my martial art journey, but mostly my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu journey, which has taken me more than 10 years now. And it's quite long, so just bear with me, and I hope you enjoy it. How did I get started in martial arts? So I originally done martial arts very early on when I was a kid, probably when I was, I like to say 14 or 15. Our town had a kung fu school, and my friend was quite into that at the time and asked me to go check it out, and so I did it, and at the time it was quite fun. The only kung fu I really knew was the stuff that I'd seen in movies like Bruce Lee movies and Jackie Chan stuff, so it was good to do the real thing, and it was the Shaolin kung fu type martial art, and I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. It was at the stage, I guess for me, I didn't quite like the forms, and that's just personally me. I think there's a benefit to all those forms that we do, but I mean, also I was a kid as well, so I didn't quite know how to apply forms into the application in a real life situation. I was like, if this was a real fight, how would I actually know how to incorporate all these? And a lot of that probably in Kung Fu, it's either separate or there's just a lot of drilling. Separate in terms of there is very good applications for the moves that you learn within forms that you can apply, and a lot of it just takes a lot of drill. So I mean, I gave that up pretty much I don't know, say 3 or 4 months or something like that. I just stopped. Whereas my mate, he carried on doing it for a very long time. So we fast forward that. After I finished uni, which was probably 2008, I think, I like to say, I got to a point where I was like, I was quite unhealthy, and I thought I could get into the industry straight away. If you don't know, I work in the visual effects industry now, but it was very difficult to get into. A lot of my friends got into it though, but I couldn't, and I had really good grades at that time as well. I thought it was kind of by my right, I thought it was my right that if I pass university, then it should be guaranteed that I get into a visual effects industry. I thought that was a given. Turns out it's not. Turns out they need people with experience, and that's a catch-22, because how can I get that experience if you don't hire me? Well, how can you hire me if I don't have that experience? And for the longest time, I just I think I had a confidence issue at that time. I still have a confidence issue, but especially back then, my confidence was at all-time low. I don't know, I had very little self-worth at that point. I wasn't getting into the industries I wanted to get into. I didn't have it, and I didn't have any life experience, I thought, as well. And there was no challenges after uni. University was such a huge challenge for me, just to be able to complete it and get really good grades at it. It was quite a high, but then when the real world hits and you realize you have no other goals after that, I was depressed. My confidence was so low, and it was like that for ages. And I'm not too sure how I stumbled upon it, but it was probably at the end of 2008 or end of 2009. I was watching Manny Pacquiao, this small little Asian dude. I found out he's from some little country called the Philippines, which at that time I didn't know where that was in the Pacific Ocean. But anyway, I see this little guy just knocking out these Mexicans. And I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. I think I watched one of his fights against Miguel Cotto and Oscar De La Hoya, and I was like, wow, these are really good fighters. And this is much smaller little Asian guy, just beating the shit out of him. And I looked into his backstory, and I was like, wow, his backstory is unlike any other backstory you've ever heard. It's something like a Hollywood movie would have made of him. Yeah, my life struggles does not compare to Manny Pacquiao's struggles, that's for sure. So I got into boxing, and I was doing boxing for probably about 6 months. So I'd go every week, right? And at the time I only weighed about 63 kilos. Boxing didn't put any muscle on me. It definitely toned me up a lot more though. And my cardio got better, and I just felt good that even though I was still getting rejected by the visual effects industry over and over again, it was good because I had an outlet. I had this kind of sense of freedom or focus, actually, to just improve on myself. And so I just kept going to these box fit classes. At the time I thought I was doing these boxing classes, but it was more so box fit. It was great because I met same kind of people, same focus. But then after that, I got into the UFC because my friends were real into MMA and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll watch this UFC stuff, right? This MMA. And then I was like, what are these guys? They get to the ground, these guys are just rolling around on their back and got his legs wrapped around his waist. And I was like, whoa, man, that's what is that stuff, you know? And then the Fear Factor guy, who of course you guys know is Joe Rogan now, he starts explaining these intricacies of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I was like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Is that some kind of like capoeira type stuff? Or, what is that? So I Googled it up, I had a look, and it was looked like judo at the time, but it was dudes rolling around in the gi, and it was mainly all just ground fighting. I was like, whoa, this is not like the type of karate or kung fu stuff that I'm used to seeing. So it felt very real, and I was like, you know what, I might give this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing a go.